In a quiet house on the outskirts of Berlin, a young boy stands at his window, staring out at a world he does not understand. His name is Bruno. He is 8 years old, curious, energetic, full of imagination, and without even knowing it, he is about to become part of a story that will haunt the world forever. Bruno grows up in a large house filled with order and routine. There are polished floors, neatly made beds, and servants who quietly move through the halls. His father wears a uniform that commands respect. His mother keeps everything in perfect balance. His sister tries to act older than she is. To Bruno, life feels safe, normal, the way it is supposed to be. He spends his days playing, exploring, and dreaming of becoming an explorer one day. To him, the world is full of adventure, not danger. But everything changes. One day, soldiers arrive at the house. His father has been promoted. A higher rank, a more important role, and with it, a new assignment. They must leave Berlin immediately. Bruno doesn't understand. Why do they have to go? Why now? Why can't he say goodbye to his friends? But in this family, children do not question decisions. They obey. The new house feels different the moment they arrive. It is large but empty, quiet, cold. There are no other children, no neighbors, no laughter, just wind and silence. And then there is something else, something Bruno cannot ignore. In the distance, beyond the house, he sees a fence. Long, endless, covered in barbed wire, and behind it, people, hundreds of them, all wearing the same striped clothing. To Bruno, it looks strange. Why are they all dressed the same? Why do they look so tired? Why are there no games, no smiles? He asks his mother. She avoids the question. He asks his father. His face turns serious. Stay away from there. That is all he is told. But Bruno is curious, like any child would be. One day he decides to explore further than ever before. Past the limits, past the warnings, until he reaches the fence. And there, he sees someone. A boy, about his age, thin, pale, with tired eyes that seem far older than 8. His name is Shmuel. Their first conversation is quiet, awkward, but something about it feels important. Two boys, separated by a fence, separated by a world they do not fully understand. Bruno asks questions, simple questions, honest questions. Why are you wearing those clothes? Why are you there? Why can't you come over? Shmuel answers softly, carefully, as if every word could bring trouble. What Bruno does not know is that this is not a farm, not a village. This is Auschwitz, a concentration camp, a place where people do not live but struggle to survive. But Bruno cannot see that. He only sees a friend, and so something begins. Day after day, Bruno returns. He sits by the fence. He talks. He listens. He tells Shmuel about Berlin, about his old house, his friends, his life. Shmuel speaks less, not because he doesn't want to, but because his world is different, heavier, darker. Over time, Bruno starts to notice things. Shmuel grows thinner, weaker, quieter. Some days he doesn't come at all, and when he does, he looks worse than before. Bruno doesn't understand, but he feels it. Something is wrong. Inside the house, things are changing too. His sister begins to believe what she is taught. Ideas about superiority, about who matters and who does not. Their tutor fills their minds with words, not truth, but belief. And his father remains distant, focused, unreachable. To Bruno, it feels like everyone is changing. Everyone except him and Shmuel. Their friendship grows, in silence, in secrecy, because what they are doing is forbidden. One day, something happens. Bruno finds Shmuel inside his house, working. For a moment, they are just two boys again, but then everything changes. Food goes missing, and the blame falls on Shmuel. Bruno knows the truth. He knows Shmuel is innocent, but he says nothing. He looks away, and in that moment, he betrays his friend. Shmuel is taken away, punished. Days pass, and he does not return. For the first time, Bruno feels something new: guilt. When Shmuel finally comes back, he looks broken, but he forgives Bruno without hesitation. And that moment changes everything. Then Shmuel tells him something. His father is gone, missing inside the camp, and he has not come back. Bruno does not hesitate. He wants to help because that's what friends do. The next day, he returns with a plan. He digs under the fence, carefully, and for the first time, Bruno crosses into the world he was never meant to enter. He puts on the striped clothes, sits beside Shmuel, and together they walk into the camp. Inside, everything feels different. The air is heavy. The silence is unsettling. The people look empty. Bruno begins to feel it now. Not understand, but feel. They search for Shmuel's father, but the camp is vast, crowded, confusing. And then, everything changes. The guards begin shouting, pushing, ordering people to move. The crowd is forced together, faster, tighter. Bruno and Shmuel are swept along. Together they are pushed into a building. The room is small. The walls are bare. There are no windows. People stand close together. Too close. There is a silence, heavier than anything Bruno has ever felt. The door slams shut. No one explains what is happening, but the adults understand. You can see it in their faces. Bruno looks around, confused, afraid. This was never a game. This was never a game. This was never an adventure. He grabs Shmuel's hand tightly. "I'm here," he says. And in that moment, there is only friendship in a world that has lost everything. And for the first time, Bruno begins to understand that some places have no way back. What happens next is something the world would never forget. Because this story is not just about two boys. It is about innocence, ignorance, and the consequences of a world built on hate. It shows us how easily truth can be hidden when no one chooses to speak. But it also shows us something else, that even in the darkest places, human connection can still exist. And that silence can be just as dangerous as action. Because Bruno did not know. Because Bruno did not know, but the adults around him did. And they chose to do nothing. And that is where the real tragedy begins. This story has touched millions of people, not because it is easy to watch, but because it feels real. Because it forces us to see, to feel, to remember, and perhaps most importantly, to learn. Because behind every number was a person, a name, a life, and sometimes all it takes is a fence to separate two worlds. This was the Gallows Archive.